street snack in South Korea. And try this out, see what happens. Thank you so much for joining me. Wow. I can't even talk because that was so delicious. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Seth's Kitchen. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do a very delicious South Korean style pancake. It's called Hotteok. My wife has been craving for this dessert. It's something that is a street food snack, very, very popular in Busan. Something that she gets a hankering for. She wants to have it, so I gotta make it, kind of thing. Very delicious though, very simple ingredients. We've got some sugar, yeast, vegetable oil, salt, all-purpose flour as the main for the dough. And then over here we have a couple different filling types. The classic filling is going to be a cinnamon sugar. We're using Turbinado, which is raw sugar, cinnamon, and crushed nuts. This is just a blend of macadamia, almonds, cashew, peanut, and sunflowers. And then a separate filling that we're going to be using today is going to be a Turbinado and cinnamon blend with cream cheese. So you're going to have a very, very savory, tasty, sugary blend for that. But then a kind of crunchy, very, very mouth-fulfilling, savory blend for the other part of it as well. Today we're going to start off by making the dough. This is the most time-consuming part of the entire process because we have to actually build the dough up and we have to do it in 2 steps. Because we're doing this in 2 parts today, this will be done by starting off with the water, which is 1 cup of lukewarm water. I'm going to be putting this into the bowl. Starting off with that, and then mixing in 2 tablespoons of sugar. This feeds the yeast so that the yeast rises. You're gonna add the yeast into it, making sure that you get all of it in there. Add your salt. This is kosher salt. And then add your vegetable oil. So you're just gonna put all that together in there. And then we're gonna just mix it up. The thing is, with this mixture, you have to make sure that you get everything together so that it combines well and the yeast actually starts incorporating itself with the sugar, because if you don't do that, the yeast won't feed on the sugar. That is an interesting thing about yeast, is it uses sugar to feed off of. It is an active ingredient. It's something that you have to feed it to make it rise, because it actually it consumes the sugar and then it starts to create a gas that makes the dough rise, and that's what will actually make the dough very light and fluffy. And so this entire process, this first process, is very important to make sure that we do it very, very nicely so that it all combines very, very well. And then after we do this, because as soon as we get it all together, we're going to add in the flour. 2 cups of flour, and then this gets mixed together. The key to this is making sure you don't over mix it, because you don't want to blend it together. You're not making a cake here, you're making dough. And if you need to add a little more water, you can. And then once that settles, you're going to leave this in the container for about an hour. What we're going to do is we're actually going to seal this up with some plastic wrap to make sure that it's airtight. So then it has time to grow. So we're going to leave this for about an hour. and then we'll come back to it in just a little bit. So for the first of the fillings we're gonna do while the dough is rising, we're gonna mix up together the chopped nuts, cinnamon, and the raw sugar. We're gonna just put the nuts in first. Add in the cinnamon. Absolutely delicious. And then the sugar. And we're gonna be mixing these together just to make a nice, delicious base. I'm gonna add in the last of that. And all combined. So this is something that, as you can see, it's not gonna be completely combined to be, you know, there's no liquid in here, so you have to just kind of mix it as well as possible so that it gets very incorporated and that you get as much of the cinnamon mixed in with the sugar as possible, as well as the nuts. Because as you can see, if you can look closely, the cinnamon is actually coating the nuts because the oil on the nuts themselves is actually attracting the cinnamon powder to the nuts. So we have to just get this as incorporated as possible so that when we go to scoop this into the dough later, it will have a good consistency to it. All right, so we'll leave this here for now, and then we'll go to the next one. All right, so we have let this sit for just over an hour. And as you can see, it's raised quite a bit. So what we're gonna do right now is just kind of bring it away from the sides for a second to kind of release some of the gas out of the dough and kind of fold it into itself. Looking nice and sticky, looking beautiful. And we're gonna let this sit. Now that we've released some of the gas, we're gonna let it sit now for about another 10-15 minutes. All right, guys, welcome back. So the rising process has already finished. I double dipped it on the rising because it actually helps make it a little bit more fluffy and much more of a very delicate dough when it is done cooking. With a medium-high heat on the pan, we're gonna add about 2 tablespoons of butter, and we're gonna do that divided up here so that it melts nicely. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna let this get nice and melted. We don't wanna overheat this because we don't want it to burn the butter at all. We want it to get nice and melted and get nice and hot so that it will cook what we're about to do with the Korean pancakes. So let's get this on a nice heat. Like I said, about a medium-high, let that melt up. Now over here, to get this started off, we're gonna add some flour to the kneading board. And we're gonna spread this out. And we're gonna bring this out of the bowl. Leave nothing left in there. And you're gonna wanna make sure that you keep your hands fully floured as you bring it in and knead it properly. Now you don't wanna be kneading it like you would normally a bread dough because you want to make sure that it's staying nice and moist on the inside. I'm going to cut this in half. And then each one of these, we're going to cut these in half as well. All right, so we're going to be making about 8 servings out of this. I'm going to cut these down to the proper size so that you get the even cooking times and so that you have the right sizes out of each one. Alrighty, so what we're going to do is take each one of these, and because we have 2 different kinds of fillings, we're going to build it up. Turn down this heat just a little bit. Just a tad. We want it nice and hot, but we don't want it to be too hot. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a little hole in the center of this. And we're gonna add just a little bit. this. I'm gonna be pinching this together. And we're gonna make it like that. And then we're going to put it into the heat. I'm gonna sear it just like this. Adding the next one together. Stretch it out a little bit. Add a little bit more of the filling. And then we're gonna be stretching this together to make it all come together just like so. And then, after we do it just like that, we put it right back in the heat again. We can do a few of these at a time. I'm gonna do 3 at a time. Stuff. Pinch it just like this. And because the dough, you didn't knead it too much, so now it's still sticky enough to hold itself together after you pinch it. Get in here. Get it just like that. So then, after these cook just a little bit longer on the stove, we're gonna actually make it so that we let them get nice and seared, and then we're going to flip them over. All right, now that these are starting to sear a little bit, I'm gonna go ahead and flip it just like this. See, it's nice and golden, and we're gonna push this down just like so. Nice little pancake. Let that cook. Beautiful. All right, each one. And if you noticed, I made sure to put the closed end down first, the one that we pinched, so that we don't have anything coming out. We want to make sure that they're all nice and closed up so that there's nothing coming out of it as far as the filling goes. So we're going to let these sear just for another moment, and then we'll take them off. I'm going to put a little topper on this really quick to help it cook a little bit better. This actually helps the bun steam a little bit. It makes it have the nice airy feel to it. All right, we're gonna get the other ones going while those are cooking. So we're gonna spread these out a little bit. Since we're doing half and half, I'm getting the last of this into the last of this bun. This is gonna be the last of the nut and cinnamon sugar mixture. I'm gonna flour your plate a little bit to make sure that you don't have any stickage. And then for these, I'm gonna start off by getting it nice and spread out so we can put some of this cream cheese mixture in here. Just over a tablespoon of that. Make it nice and filling on the inside. These look perfect. Yeah, they look good. All right, so we're gonna put these on a plate. Alright guys, so here's a moment of truth. Got done cooking all these beautiful pancakes. Hotteok. They are a Korean, South Korean style pancake. Very, very delicious street food. I'm gonna try these out. We're gonna start with one of the nut ones first. Open this up. See how it looks. This is the nut and cinnamon. Look at this. Nuts on the inside, cinnamon sugar glazing. It's almost like caramelized. Let's see how this tastes. Oh my God. Absolutely amazing. Very sweet. It's got the crunch from the nuts in it. And the dough is almost, it's pastry-like. It's almost like a donut, but not. It's so delicious. Absolutely fantastic. Let's try one of these cheese ones here. See how this tastes out. This is the cream cheese and cinnamon filled. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Woo! Piping hot. Absolutely delicious. I wish you could taste this. This is so... It's decadent. That's all I can say is it's decadent. It is absolutely phenomenal. The flavor is so good. The texture of the dough is not like any... It's not bread. It's not pancake. It's not donut. It's its own thing. This is absolutely delicious. And having it pan fried like this, you can use butter like we used. It gives a ton of flavor. You can use vegetable oil if you don't want to use butter, obviously. But this is something that it is. You've got to try this. You've got to try a street dessert / street snack in South Korea. You can try this out. See what happens. Thank you so much for joining me. Wow. I can't even talk because that was so delicious. I appreciate it. If you like this channel, if you like these videos, help support me. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments below how you guys like this video and what else you guys like me to make in the future. I really appreciate your help, and we'll see you guys soon.